Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Old Time Rock and Roll. I'm your host, David Tear. And as you can see, I'm back from vacation. I spent the last 3 days with my best friend and his family in Boulder City near me for Thanksgiving. We had a really excellent Thanksgiving. I ate a lot of really good food, and now I'm back home. And now I'm going to resume my personal top 3,000 songs of the rock era from 1954 to 1999. And today I'm up to song number 2680, and that one is Destination Unknown by Missing Persons. This was featured on it released in 1982. It was a minor hit, just went to number 42. And it was also released on their debut album entitled Spring Session M. And first, I want to talk about the song before I talk about the group Missing Persons. So this song, like I said, came out in 1982, and I remember the video. They used to play the video a lot on MTV, even though it was just a minor hit. They didn't play it a lot on the radio. I used to see this video played a lot on MTV, and I was really into MTV when it first came out for a few years. So, I saw this video several times, and I liked it. And I thought it was an interesting song. I didn't think too much about the meaning at that time. It was a little strange. He had a very, strange kind of high pitched squeaky voice. It's kind of life is so strange. Destination, oh no, when you don't know your destination. I can't do justice to her, obviously, but it was an interesting song, and they were an interesting band. And when I watched the video, they show her, I guess, in the makeup room, getting ready for going out on stage, all dolled up, with her wild hairdo and this kind of chiffon dress, and then they show her in the limo and all this stuff. And I didn't think too much about, what was going on in the video, I guess. And I also didn't really think much about the meaning of the song. But I guess, that to me, the obvious meaning of the song now is basically, young people, when they get started in life, they don't really, when they're first, out of the house and looking for a job, and, they don't know exactly what they're going to do with their life yet. Their destination is unknown. And it's true that life is kind of strange when you're first starting out. Kind of reminds me of, the opening scene in The Graduate when Hoffman comes home, after he graduates from college, and then they have a big, huge party. His family and friends have a big, huge outdoor party for him. But, he kind of freaks out because they're trying to plan out his future, and he really has no idea what he wants to do with the rest of his life. I guess his destination was unknown as well. And I think that's very common. But apparently, I just looked this up today. I didn't realize this, but the lead singer, Kale Bazio, um, I guess it's really about the death of her brother. I mean, her brother had just died, I guess, before they wrote, by the way, the credits for songwriting go to all three of the original members of Missing Persons, Dale and Terry Bazio. Dale was the lead singer, Terry was the drummer. I'm not sure if that was another one of her brothers. And then also Warren Cucurullo, who was the guitarist, and also the founder. So they all collaborated in writing this song, Destination Unknown. And apparently it was really about the death of her brother. I don't think it was Terry Bazio who died. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I guess the point of the song was she knew she was gonna die too. I mean, we all will at some point, obviously. And I guess he was just trying to say she didn't know what's going to happen to her after she died. And none of us do. I mean, a lot of us like to think we do. A lot of religious people, particularly a lot of Christians, think we're either going to go to heaven or hell. Jews don't really believe in an afterlife. I didn't when I was a kid. My parents never did. Now I do. I don't want to go into that right now, though. I do have my views about what happens after we die. Maybe I'll talk about it in another video, but I don't really think it's relevant to this one's. But anyway, I have a kind of a different interpretation, which I just said. I think it's just more about just not being sure of yourself when you're first starting out in life. I guess it's a little bit of more of a benign interpretation. But that's part of the beauty of music. Music's an art form, and just like other art, like modern art, it's open to how you want to interpret it. And another song I can think of like that is Hotel California. I mean, I have my own interpretation of the lyrics of Hotel California, which isn't exactly what the Eagles had in mind, but the Eagles specifically said, it was open to interpretations. So, anyway, enough of that. I think I talked enough about the song Destination Unknown. Now I'll talk about the band Missing Person. So here's a picture of them early on. They were a new wave band, as you could probably tell from their big hair. I mean, new wave bands were also known as big hair bands in the 80s. And you can see they all had big hair, big wild hair. Especially the lead singer Dale. I don't mind it. I think it looks kind of cool, actually. It was just kind of the fashion. Young people in the 80s, why not? I mean, hippies had long hair. I think ever since the 60s, probably even before that. I think, people's hair or people's, the way they dress, is kind of a reflection of the times and also, reflection of the music of musical artists. So I applaud them for that. And anyway, their original members were Dale Bozzio, the lead singer, Terry Bozzio, the drummer, and Warren Cucurullo, the guitarist. And I think I should also mention that Warren Cucurullo was involved with several other musicians and bands. He also worked with Frank Zappa, I guess, in the late 70s. Frank Zappa was, I don't know if you'd call him new wave, but he was a pretty wild artist in the 70s. Not really one of my favorites. I do have a song of his coming up on my list, though. And so he was with Frank Zappa. He joined, I guess, Missing Persons. And then after that, he also joined Duran Duran, another very popular new wave band, in 1989. And Missing Persons was originally together from 1980 to 1986, but like many other bands, they reformed several times afterwards. They were also together from 2001 to 2003, briefly in 2009, and then 2011 till today. They're still performing today. And now I'm just going to go over their hits. So, 1982, they had the first couple hits, Words, which went to number 42. Destination Unknown, the one I'm featuring today, which also went to number 42. 1983, they had a song called Windows, which went to number 63. They had a song called Walking in LA, which went to number 70. I like Walking in LA, by the way. And I probably should have featured it on my top 3,000, but didn't quite make the list. But it's a funny song. I just want to say something about it, since I'm not featuring it. I was living in LA maybe 20 years later, early 2000s. And it's true. She says, Walking in LA? Nobody walks in LA. And it's funny. I think it's a very funny song because it's true. I mean, people don't walk in LA. It's not a pedestrian friendly city. It's kind of a city that was built on urban sprawl, just really stretched out, and you really need a car to go anywhere in LA, which I think is very unfortunate. That's kind of the case with a lot of big cities in the United States, unfortunately. But, not really good public transportation and definitely not a walking city. So I think it's kind of a funny song that's true, in my opinion. And then finally, 1984, they had a song called Give, which went to number 67. So that was their hits. Only 5 minor hits, no top 40 hits. But I think they were an underrated group. I like their music. I think I especially like Dale Bozzio. She had a good kind of high pitched, pipsqueaky voice as well as wild image like Cyndi Lauper. So I think this is a good song, and I think they were a good group. And I guess that concludes my profile of the song Destination Unknown by Missing Persons. Thank you for watching. You guys rock, and I'll see you next time.